Okay, that's a size 1 figure skate, kind of a recreational skate here. And when I put it in this sharpener here, it started to use it. I've got an angular area here, it's off here, tilted over, which you'd think it'd have to do with the Z height. But what happens on a small skate like this, sometimes it won't fit. This is a swing arm machine, won't fit in the holder correctly. So I just want to show what happens if it's not clamped in the holder right. And that's whether it's a swing arm machine or a tabletop machine of any brand. You want to make sure that when it's clamped in the holder, it's not fouled in any way, so that it's being biased up or down by a feature of the skate. So here on a swing arm machine, I actually had it just barely touching over here. And what happens, you might go through a bunch of skates that are a certain size and never have it touch anything, but I just barely kissed this a little bit here, and so this is actually tilted up in the holder like this. So that's something to be aware of, that you're not, it's purely just clamping the blade and not touching any little feature on the skate. And you can get in trouble on that if you have a skate that's a very large size or small size and you're not aware of, make sure it's not touching anything so you don't have a bias like this. So you reclamp this on there, it's not touching in any position right through there. So that's a good clamping. You can also run to where you have some of the boots will touch over here. And this is a modern Wasoda, it's got plenty of clearance out there. There are some older holders here, like this is an Easy Sharp machine. There's some of these, the older version of this had a lower Z height, so when you put it in the clamp, it can tend to foul the knob. So some of these were designed, some of the old Wasodas, Easy Sharps, Blackstones and everything else, some of them had a lower height and it can tend to bias the skate up. So you gotta make sure you're not touching any feature with the skate. And so over the years, I know in the Easy Sharp machine, the older ones were lower and they've raised it up. Probably 20 years ago, they've raised this up. And so you're not going to really follow this. But over here, that's what I was running into. I was going to adjust the little wheel here on the SSM2 higher, and I found out that it was sharpening up here in the top, but not the bottom. So I said, oh, I got the Z height screwed up, and was all ready to start to adjust the wheel up. Then I noticed that, oh my God, this is the little bitty one that runs through and tends to touch something up there. So now that's free, so I'm good to go. Okay, got the size 1 skate in the holder correctly, so it's not fouling anything. Which is sometimes a little bit hard to do. And I'm going to kick the machine on, and then got the blower on. This skate is a pair of rental skates that's been, somebody else has mashed down on this edge on here. That's very bad. But these are ones that were received from a different rink, and they'd wailed down on this. So there's really nothing I can do to fix that unless you want to really wail this completely down. But now, since the Z height's right, it's cutting completely on both edges, which is good. And it's all nice and square here on here. So that's it. Not fouled. It's cutting correctly. This is SSM2. You adjust the Z height here with the wheel. And there is a more advanced model on this that has a gizmo that actually has a number on it. This has a number. It has one you can dial it in to the thickness of the blade. That's an upgrade. But these are very fast to use, a swing arm machine. Just put it in and zip it back and forth. But this is a rec skate for figure skates, which has almost no toe pick. They've ground that down. And this has been ground down, which unfortunately this should not be ground down. This radius should go all the way over to here. So that's one of the problems with hand grinding stuff. People tend to go ahead and wail on the tail on this, and that's kind of a disaster on a figure skate. If you take a high-end blade here, like a Gold Seal here, $500 blade, you got this profile that's just immaculate on here. You don't want to go through and have this all ground down. This radius from here to here is always, might be like a 9 or 10 foot radius, and it shouldn't be turned down like a hockey skate. So somebody does hockey skates, they tend to want to go grind all this down, which is really bad news. Of course, a figure skate's got a radius to here, and the general sometimes is a second radius and a third radius. And this is what you call the non-skatable zone, which is if you take a flat to here, from here to there it doesn't touch the ice. And this part is where you pivot around when you rotate around. So a lot of skates like this that are rec skates, just over time, because this was a rental skate, just tends to get abused, gets torn up.